I feel that I'm decently successful in life. We're going to come back to that. But some people often wonder, hey, what do you do for a living? How'd you get to where you're at? Well, it's simple. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and there's a few movies that actually guided me, giving me rules to live by.
There's 3 rules that I live by. Never get less than 12 hours sleep. Never play cards with a guy who's got the same first name as a city. And never go near a lady who's got a tattoo of a dagger on her body.
Every now and then, say what the fuck. What the fuck gives you freedom? Freedom brings opportunity. Opportunity makes your future.
As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Coming up in just a few weeks is the Rochester Toy Hunt. I will be there. Make sure to check it out. There's a link in the description of this video. Tickets are super cheap. So much cool collectible stuff gonna be there, as well as Mr. X. Hey, welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X. Thank you for tuning in on this Thanksgiving week 2022. It's gonna be a really exciting week. Not only are we gonna go over my 10 rules to live by today, but we're gonna hint at a huge $2,000 giveaway that's coming this week. So the reason behind this video is twofold. Number one, it was actually a comment from one of the subscribers on, hey, we should do a 10 rules Mr. X lives by. And it was gonna be very comedic, kind of like in the intro, which are great films. If you don't know that, it's actually Risky Business and Teen Wolf. But since it's Thanksgiving week and it's the time to reminisce what you're thankful for, I honestly started on a serious track. Hey, what are some make or break rules that I have that have actually led me to success and sometimes some failure? But in the end, I believe it makes me successful. Now, the thing about success is everyone defines it differently. Some people look at wealth. Some people look at their professional career. Some people look at relationships. Some people look at their faith. And there's many, many more things. In my opinion, it's a combination of all of those things leading up to one question. Are you happy in life? And if you're happy in life, then my opinion is you are successful. So I'm going to walk you through some of the stuff that has helped in all of those areas I've just talked about and led me to success. And don't worry, we're going to have some fun doing it.
Hey, that's what she said.
Rule number one, if you're a follower of the channel, you see that I stick to this to a T, but it is work hard, play hard. So many people, hey, what do you do for a living? Well, I work anywhere from 70 to 80 hours a week. And they say, well, I want to do that. I have the resources that you do. No, you don't. Most people don't like working 30 or 40-hour weeks and they try and get out of that. It seems enticing until you start doing it for a number of years. But with that being said, you guys also see that I like to play hard, whether it's having fun with collectibles in a non-sicko type way, lots of traveling, doing adventures with my family, having some cool shit. I'm a big believer in work hard, play hard. You should always remember this. I don't think you should do one without the other. Number two, so I make a lot of big decisions, as I'm sure you do too. That's why you turned on the Extreme channel today. Good decision. But for the most part, that's all my life is. Both the personal and professional setting is I make decisions nonstop, sometimes thousands in a day. However, some of the decisions I have to make greatly affect other people or companies, or maybe my personal future or my family's future. And every single time I've had kind of one of those big milestones in my life, it's because I had to make a very difficult decision. And when I make those decisions, I look at risk versus reward. I always say, okay, if I'm gonna risk X, whether that's money or time or resources, maybe it's my money or time, maybe it's somebody else's, what could I get out of this? And then alternatively, what's the worst that could happen? I always go to worst case scenarios. And the reason for that is, when I look at a worst case scenario, I ask myself, could I live with that? And for the most part, the answer is yes. Other than losing loved ones, to me, that's the only thing that's not worth anything. If you're comfortable knowing if you failed at whatever choice you're making or it didn't go in the direction you wanted and you'd still be okay, you should take the risk. A lot of times I fall on the side of risk and it works out really, really well. Tied into that one is number three. You always have to plan for the future. And I'm not talking about next week, although that's part of it. I'm talking about next year and next decade. My wife and I completely plan to retire in a little over 8 years from now. And the reason we're able to do that at the age we are is because we've been planning. Everything builds into that. And when you plan for the future, I advise you to think big. Think really big. Think bigger than you ever thought possible. My favorite quotes is from the book The Last Lecture. It's a fantastic read. I advise you to go read it. But it really talks about brick walls are there for a reason. They're there to keep other people out. They're there to show how badly we want it. And it really ties into this, in my opinion. I've talked about this in a few videos before, but my wife and I, when we were first married, we both worked full-time and had a very, very small income. And now sometimes I alone will make that income within 2 weeks, where it took both her and I an entire year together to make it. I never thought that would be possible. I never thought that I'd be in charge of different companies. I never thought that I'd have 25,000 people watching me in a voyeuristic way. That's really weird, but I kind of like it. So really dream big. I've said this before, and you've seen this in my old office tours. I have a canvas that says, I'm coming for everything they said I couldn't have. I advise you to go into life with that mentality, knowing, back to rule number 1, you have to work very, very hard for it. Now, while you plan for the future, whether that's retirement or next year or things you want down the road, I advise you to always live in the moment like a Jedi. You have to appreciate what's around you. You guys will notice I do a lot of extreme things, and sometimes I'll post video or pictures on social media. A lot of times I don't, because I just want to enjoy the moment and feel it for what it is. Whether that's time with other people or the experience, you have got to remember to enjoy the moment, even in the chaos. Take an hour out of time, whether you use like a meditation app or whether you just want to enjoy sitting outside looking at the mountains, or if you live in somewhere weird like Nebraska, look at the scarecrows. Go on a walk, whatever that looks like. Always enjoy the moment and be thankful for what you have, hence the week of Thanksgiving, which we're going to come back to that in a minute. And it's not just be thankful for what you have, although I think that's part of it. Number 5, I think, is a big one. There's something called emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is essentially how good are you at interpreting what you are feeling, how that's manifesting itself, as well as interpreting other people. So some people just have no idea and they can't control their emotions, and honestly, I think this is a huge, important part of success in life, both in relationships, from a professional standpoint. People with high emotional intelligence do very, very well. They're able to understand their emotions, they're able to control them, they're able to funnel them. People who can't fail. Like cowardly keyboard warriors have very low emotional intelligence. Now, it doesn't mean you're a stone or a rock, but I'll tell you, this rule right here really ties into that. It's 15 minutes of anger. When something upsets you, because it's gonna happen, personally, professionally, online, make a rule not to be angry for more than 15 minutes. And be disciplined at it. While I don't start a stopwatch, it's rare I'm angry for more than 5 or 10 minutes on anything, because I just move on. What's the worst that could happen? Work hard, play hard, plan for the future. Things in the past you can't fix. See how this rule ties into a lot of the other rules? But this is a huge part of my success. Some people stew on something for days. I don't let it ruin my day. Don't be angry for more than 15 minutes. Number 6, set up manageable goals and rewards for those goals. This could be big or small. So let's talk about dieting. Let's, for example, say you're dieting and you're doing really well for 3 weeks. Maybe you'll have one steak dinner. And you plan ahead because that's your reward. If you're a follower of the channel, you know I love to travel. I fly all the time, a lot of it's work related, but I do a lot of big trips and big events with my family. That's one way we can work hard and play hard so easily. I know that, hey, I only have to make it another 3 weeks or another 2 months. 9 days from when I'm filming this, I'm taking my family to Orlando. Always have goals and rewards on the horizon. Big ones and little ones, so that can get you through the next hour, or maybe the next day, or maybe the next 3 months. And remember, when you're having those bad days and those horrible things happen, remember the plan, remember the upcoming goal. Number 7, have a hobby. You've got to have a hobby. I love to travel. I love to collect things, obviously. I love to drink, not gonna lie. I love doing this YouTube stuff. You guys know I don't get a huge financial return for this for the amount of time I put in it. This is a hobby for me. While it does take a lot of work, most good hobbies do, it's a good outlet and it rounds out my life. And it allows me to interact with others like most good hobbies do. Make sure you have 1 or 2 good hobbies. Number 8, enjoy the arts. Whether this is movies or artwork or music, I absolutely love all 3. I believe statues and comics are artwork. I'm a big movie buff, of course. I love music. I listen to music almost all of the time. If I'm not on the phone or with someone else, I will have music playing 24/7. There's a certain appreciation, not only for the art behind all these things, but the people who actually put them together. Number 9, probably the most important, be comfortable if you lost it all. This is one of those, what's the worst thing that could happen? Me and my family, or my family and I guess that's a proper vernacular. Now I'm using big old words. We often look at, what if we lost everything? What if, you know what, we didn't have our home or the resources we have and we just had each other? Other than people, be comfortable if you lost everything you've worked for. We'd be comfortable with that. Sure, saying that out loud as opposed to putting it in practice is kind of a different thing. However, really remember, if you've built your own happiness and success, or other people have, remember, wherever you're at now, if you lost it all, would you still be comfortable? Because that's the true sign of success for me. Number 10, and this is the big one that ties into Thanksgiving. Remember those who support you emotionally, that are there for you, that put up with your shit, that have in the past. Maybe there are people that are praying for you don't even know. But remember those people and recognize them. No person becomes successful on their own. That is a fact. Obviously, my wife, my family, so many different friends and mentors through the years are huge reasons why I'm successful. And while I don't remember them all the time, I have to take specific steps back to acknowledge them and remember them and recognize them if they're still in my life. Always recognize and remember the people who support you. So that's my list. Guys, throw down below what is in your list. Some rules that have made you happy and worked really well for you, and read the others. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. I really appreciate you guys. That's why we're doing a $2,000 statue giveaway. Make sure you've subscribed and hit the bell notification for that. I'll see you in 2 days with more info. Take care.